She told her that she would be there for her no matter what. Rain couldn't wash her out of her life. Snow couldn't freeze her heart. She was too in love for frigid emotion. The sun was constantly shining because she was the joy in her life. But what she had failed to realize is the weather channel of her mind was cloudy. Thunderstorms were accumulating in her spirit, and her hands were showing warnings of flesh. Floods her eyes, the color of lost, bleeding, glossy deception, and she tried to muzzle the screams within her soul. See, she wanted freedom from this bondage she was entangled in, but I love yous and you complete me's from her significant other were enough to hush her issues for a moment. The fact that the same of the two confused her, but yet amused her and even aroused her all at the same time. The other told her hand was better to be carried into marriage, so she popped a band to put a band on bondage. See, there's nothing sacred about two X chromosomes coming together to formulate a formula of destructive DNA. She smiled and said yes to her death, but her heart was pleading with God to spare her soul, while her flesh crawled around her neck like a serpent squeezing the life from her. She was back in a familiar place, back in the garden holding death in her hand, while she was persuaded by a shrewd coward to swallow it, digest it, and infect another. But she was in love with she, believing that it was okay because he was in love with who she was. But she was erasing the fact that the wages of her sin she could not afford. She was more infatuated with debt than submitting to the creditor who was generous enough to pay her debt in full. What a fool. She was being foolish enough to deny his grace. What a waste of time was not on her side. See, time is not given, it's borrowed. And eventually the timekeeper wants his time back. That's why he warns before he returns. He feels it's impolite to just show without proper introduction, and he alerts. But she still flirts with desire that has intimate conversations with deception. She checked yes to disobedience, but maybe to freedom. And every time she tries to erase the current and start over, deceiving powers that be show her the picture in front of her. Seducing spirits guide her eyes to show her how well she takes care of her kids. But mommy can never be a daddy, no matter how low her pants sag and voice dips into the lowest parts of her femininity. She can never replace the man that inspired her seed. But reprobation whisper dirty little lies in her ear, and she likes to keep secrets. Like, she secretly wants to tell her girlfriend that marriage is no longer an option because she doesn't want to walk down the aisle of hell dressed in sin as they spit well-tailored lies under the covenant of the devil. Will you kiss the bride? Will you kiss the bride? Will you kiss the bride? She keeps hearing in her thoughts. She wants to say no, but desperate to say yes. All because she doesn't want loneliness back at her doorstep. Men hurt, she thinks, but that woman kills. It's what's revealed. She tries to shake it off. She's dressed in beautiful fabric as spirits say abracadabra, having her in a trance. She holds the hand of someone that was meant to be loved as a sister as she gets ready to lie her commitments. What are you doing? Is what she hears in her spirit. God has better. She listens. You don't have to do this. Don't be fooled. Don't give in to seducing spirits. Please, don't force my hand. It's not my want that you should perish. She snaps back to the words, I now pronounce you wife and wife. You may kiss the bride. God have mercy on these lives. Celebration proceeds, and the feelings of fear subside. I made it, she thinks. God loves me. There's nothing wrong with our union. Look how happy we are. They drive on a highway stretched in darkness, not knowing what lay before them. Moments later, tires screech, metal spreads, and blood is sacrificed on the road. She lays on the wide road, motionless, finding her breath, fading away. Her new conjoined lover, pronounced dead, left holding her hand, and she tries to ask God to but forgiveness never slips from her lips.